everyone, and welcome to the first episode of doing Unity. So, this is also the first episode of replying to your comments. Today, we have our first comment by Dre Sky. Don't forget to check out his channel. He does lots of Unity, and he said you should do a Unity video. That was an amazing idea, because I think we need more variety here. And yeah, so I'm not going to be doing something like a basics of Unity, so I'm just going to be kind of like just pressing things. I am going to start a basics of Unity series, but right now I'm just going to tell you how to, if you want to make a game, how you would start, specifically talking about player movement. So first of all, we're going to go up here. Before I do that, actually, I'm going to go into the Microsoft App Store and show you what code writer app you need. You always need one when you're doing Unity. But for this video, you need a specific one, which is Visual Studio. I'll click on that. And yeah, here it is. It's a free download. You can get it for free. It's the best It's the best app for writing code, especially for Windows. If you're using Windows, I think you can get it on the Apple App Store too. So yeah, if you have that, go ahead and get it if you know how. And we're going to go up to create, and we're going to go to 3D objects and then plane. But while I add this cube, by going back to create 3D object cube, I will talk about what this video is going to be like. Once again, this is going to be like just if you're starting and you want to make a game, you recently got Unity, you want to make a game, you just want a starting point. This is gonna, just talk about player movement. I will do a separate series once again for the basics of Unity, just like the basics of Blender, like every little detail. But right now we're just gonna right click, go to create in material, and we're gonna give this cube a color. So we're just gonna call it cube color, whatever you want. And we're gonna, right here by the little eyedropper, we're gonna press that and change the color to a green. You can change it to any color you want. It doesn't matter. And the cool thing about Unity is you can just easily drag things. So if I just wanted to drag this color, I would just hold it down and drag it to the cube and then let go, which makes things a lot easier because you don't have to add a separate color for everything. If you want to make everything green, it's really easy. Or you can just duplicate them. But first of all, we need to add a component. So we go to add component, physics, and then rigid body. So now when we play the tutorial, or when we play the game, you can see it falls, but it's just floating. It just looks like it's floating. It's really landing on the plane, but just because of the camera angle. So we're gonna move the camera, and you can see it just falls on. Just like if you were to drop a block in real life. When you drop it, it would just land on the floor, stay on the floor. That's what rigid body does. And we need to add another component. So if we go all the way to the bottom and add new script, we're going to call this cube, I think. And make sure when you're doing this, don't press space because it won't let you do anything. But we're going to press create and add. And then you can either go right there to the little settings bar, and then it would say edit script. Or you can just double click this cube thing. And yeah, once again, we're using Visual Studio 2019. And yeah, so when you open a code, it looks like this at first. We're not going to delete anything here. It should look like this. And those are where the errors and warnings are. But the first thing we're going to do is right on line 16, we are just going to write transform dot period translate, and make sure it transforms the first letters lowercase and then translate the first letters uppercase. And yeah, so you see there's an error. That's just because I didn't add a semicolon. That's because I'm not finished with the sentence. So I'm gonna go up to here before I do anything, just so what I write next is gonna make more sense. So you see void start. Right above that is two little dashes that say start as called before the first frame update. And what those two little flashes mean, it means it won't do anything. So if you mess up, you can just instead of deleting it, just add 2 slashes. And what we're going to do, right here below public class cube mono behavior, we're going to write public and then float. And it should turn blue. If it doesn't, make sure you're on C# because this is a C# script. A C# script. And after this, we can write anything we want. Keep it simple. I would say, just a little tip, keep it simple. I think I'll just call it speed. You can call it waffle, bread, unicorn, whatever you want. But I'm going to actually make the first letter uppercase. I think speed's just a simple one. And yeah, we're kind of measuring speed. So what public float speed means is the float is kind of like, it's the movement of our cube. And the speed is just what we're controlling. Like, we're controlling the movement. So right here, it's gonna start making more sense. Where you're gonna write speed equals 1f. 1f stands for 1 float. So that means when you tap an arrow key, it's not gonna work right now. Make sure you add semicolons after everything. But when you tap an arrow key, it's gonna go it's gonna move 1 space. 1. You can change that to anything you want. That's kind of the speed. When it says speed equals 1 float, that's why I called it speed, because you can change the speed. But what we're gonna do is add 2 parentheses after transform.translate, and then we are gonna write. So we're gonna go ahead inside the. Why am I writing move? We're gonna write speed. Make sure the first letter is uppercase. So I'm gonna go fix that. And then after that, I'm gonna press Shift 8 to make that little time sign, and then I'm gonna write input. So input should turn blue, and then I'm just gonna write dot get axis or axes. I don't know what the real name is for it. I think it's axes. Yeah, and then we're gonna add another parentheses inside the parentheses, and we are gonna add what are those called? Quotation mark. And it will turn the get axis brown. That's okay. I thought it meant something at first. When I first downloaded Unity, I thought it wasn't working. Yeah, but it is. Then inside the quotes, we're going to write horizontal. Okay? After that, outside of the parentheses, inside the parentheses, so now we're in the normal parentheses, if that even made any sense. All we're going to do is write time.delta time. And make sure when you're writing, we're going to do Shift 8, time.delta time. Make sure you get that time sign between horizontal and time. And make sure when you're writing delta time, delta is lowercase, but time is uppercase. And then we're going to do comma 0f, which also stands for float. It kind of looks like the word of. Yeah. And what this means is no matter how good your computer engine is or how bad it is, it will always move the same. That's what 0 floats means. Then we're going to do comma, and we're going to do the same exact thing except for changing one little thing and not adding the transform.translate. So once again, we're going to write speed and then Shift 8, input, and we're going to write dot get axis. And you can just copy paste this and just change one little thing. And then in the quotations, inside the parentheses, we are going to write vertical instead of horizontal. And right now you're probably seeing lots of errors, but don't worry, they're going to go away. Most of them are just because I didn't add the semicolon at the end of the sentence. Then we're going to write Shift 8 after this. And then time.delta time. Once again, delta is lowercase, time is uppercase, both times. And after that, all we're going to do, right, is comma, 0 floats, or 0f. And yeah. So we'll go ahead. What do we need to add? Oh, yeah. I just need to add a parenthesis and a semicolon. So now, let's go ahead and test the script. But you can see all the errors are gone. Make sure you always reread after this. Yeah. So this is the script. You can pause the video now if you need to finish it up. But right here, we're going to go into File, and then we're going to write Save Asset. yeah, click on that. So now we're just gonna go ahead and see what everything is looking like now. Okay, so I just forgot one more thing. So always store, when you even just have a simple script like movement, always store in a file. I just called it cube because that's the name of it. And how you would do this is, if I go into Unity, you see that little script right there that I used to get in. If I move this tab, the Unity tab, a little off, and you can see there is the files. So all I have to do now is drag the cube script into the files and just drop it right there. I'm not, because I already did it. Yeah, and then I'm just going to full screen this and exit out of files. Okay, so now that I have that done, now you can use your script anywhere so easily. And the next thing I'm going to do is just test it. I'm going to give it a test to see if everything is working, and it's not. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the script. This happens all the time when you code, because you have to be exact. A misspelled word messes up the entire thing. But yeah, I'm just going to take a quick look at everything and yeah, see if I can fix it. So yeah, I either wrote something wrong or it just didn't load. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into script and check it out. Okay, so I found the problem. It was because I misspelled at the end. You probably noticed this, but you see where it says 0 floats, I only wrote 0. And also, I tried it again. I wrote horizontal wrong. It's horizontal. But I'm going to switch the speed to 7 floats, because 1 float is pretty slow. I'll show you what 7 floats look like. So now I can move around this fast. I'm using the arrow keys. You can also use A, W, D, and S. And yeah, you can just move it around. It's a really great start to a game. Now you can have a simple movement. Okay, so I've speeded up the video just because this part isn't really a tutorial part. Right now I'm just kind of creating a simple game where you can just bump into some walls. You can make a maze or anything you want out of this. You can even make the camera follow. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that right now just because we're almost out of time in this video. But I'm just pressing Control D to duplicate things, if you're wondering. It's a really great feature. So yeah, I'm keep doing that. I'm going to rotate this one so there's a little barrier. I might make it a little smaller so it fits. Yeah, I'm just making a quick game right now. You can make any game you want, but this is what it looks like. Of course, this is speeded up. But one thing is when you're working with your floats, I just move the camera up. When you're working with your floats, I would say the best speed to go is 7. Of course, this looks a lot faster than 7. That's just because it's speeded up. But you can see with rigid body, you can collide into walls. You wouldn't normally do that without rigid body. And yeah, so hope you guys had a great time watching. Hopefully, you can start your own games and maybe even upload them to the App Store. But thanks again, Dre Sky, for this comment. You're the first one. So, yeah, thanks again, everyone. Check out his channel. And, yeah.